Oh my god, I'm so excited. He's gonna save retro gaming. He's gonna bring licenses to Unico. Oh, this is gonna be so awesome. I can't believe it. This is the best. He is our savior. Licenses. Yes. Really? So the news is out. John D has gotten a position of consulting with Unico, supposedly going to bring licenses to the company who cares about licenses. That's the question we're asking you today. I want to hear in the comments, what is the purpose of licenses at this point? Now that every single license is out there in multiple form factors for retro gaming, what do we need left? What is there to do with licenses? They're passing licenses out like candy everywhere.
Hello, you can download Galaga on your phone for $1.99.
I can go into Bandai Namco and get a Pac-Man license. I can go get Street Fighter. Anybody can go in. So what do you need this licensing stuff for? What do you even need a licensor for, or a position of somebody who's going to get you licenses? I mean, the idea of a position of license VP, I mean, that's like having a job like a bowling alley pin setter or like a switchboard operator. I mean, these positions, you don't even need them anymore. They're like gone. They're done with. I mean, the licenses are all out now that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is on every console and the Capcom collection and all this stuff. There's basically nothing left. And I'm not saying that licenses weren't important at a time. They were important 5 years ago when Arcade 1UP was coming out. But you have to remember, that was licenses that were coming out in a different form factor, and some of them that haven't really ever been seen before, whether it was Blitz or T2, that those weren't commercialized yet. So, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Blitz, those were licenses that nobody had anymore, or had out yet that nobody had seen. So in the idea that licenses could be important in that fashion, yes. So there's two things. One, if the license is coming out in a form factor that nobody has seen before, or on a device that nobody has seen before, such as Arcade 1UP when they were doing upright arcades, licenses were important. You did want Miss Pac-Man. You did want, obviously, Pac-Man and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and you did want Marvel vs. Capcom 2, even though they botched it. You did want Blitz, but even though they botched it. So in that fashion, yes. One, if it's in a different form factor. Two, if nobody has seen it before, right? So you have like the pole position that just came out for the My Arcade. Pretty cool. Nobody's really seen it in that form factor or pole position really out like that in a licensed ROM, so to speak. So, you kind of got two good things: the licensed ROM, license of pole position, and the form factor. So yes, you can get an upright cab of pole position, like if 1UP did that in an arcade form factor pole position, that would be cool. But those are far and few between now. You do have things like the rotary sticks and SNK collection, where those rotary sticks work perfect with a licensed game. And that is the perfect situation. You have a different form factor. You have Akari Warriors and games like that have really never been seen before on, in these form factors and licensed. So that stuff is perfect. But when it comes to, hey, give me a handheld, right, that Unico is doing, some handheld that they're botching up already. It's not the right color. The D-pad's off. They did fix the buttons, it looks like. But what do I need a handheld with all these games on it and licensed games that really aren't even, that popular to the general public? You got, your Capcom versus SNK or whatever you have on those, the same titles that were on the MVSX. Nobody's going to pick that up in a retailer, and nobody really cares about those titles when everybody has handhelds. There's 5,000 different types of handhelds where people are sideloading thousands of games. What do I need 40 SNK, titles for when I can just sideload them on my handheld? This is done with in terms of licensing from my standpoint. There's only a few, like, I don't know, maybe if you got Nintendo, that would be great. Go get Nintendo and then people will be, but that's about it. What's left? Nintendo. I mean, you got a couple IPs like Daytona, and something, unique maybe, but to put him on a handheld and to hire a guy to do licensing? Unico, you're wasting your money with this guy. You're wasting your time. Just walk into Bandai Namco and tell them you want a Pac-Man license and they'll give it to you. I mean, they hand them out like candy at Halloween. It doesn't matter. You want Street Fighter? Go get it. I mean, you don't need somebody to pay to go get these licenses at this point. And one other thing you have to worry about is be careful what you wish for or what you get for licenses. Everybody wished for Blitz, MVSC2, and all these, great titles. And guess what? Arcade 1UP got them. They paid a fortune for them, and it basically bankrupted them. I mean, that was the demise of Arcade 1UP. I mean, everybody wants to congratulate John D for getting these licenses, which he did, and good for that. But in the end, it was the demise of 1UP. He literally caused their demise. So when you talk about licenses and paying for them, why do I want to pay for all this money for some guy to go get me a license that I'm just going to have to pay for on the back end when they have to charge me for these licenses, when instead I can just sideload them on a handheld or do whatever I want and play them any way I want for free? I don't know. Okay, last point here is about legality. And these ROMs that come out, they're legal. Everybody wants to talk about the legality and all this stuff. All these hypocrites, the same guys who have ALUs with coin ops, and they have handhelds with thousands of games, and they have terabyte drives with thousands of games. These guys want to tell you how great it will be when these are legalized ROMs and everything's legal. A bunch of hypocrites, but whatever. But the point is, too, is I don't care that they're legal. They run worse sometimes when a company does them than if I play them on MAME. I mean, I could use an old MAME and they play them better than some of these versions that these people put out. I mean, they couldn't even get Pac-Man and Galaga right for Arcade 1UP. Of course, they botched Blitz and MVSC2 and T2 and Simpsons. They botched everything. They botched... Gauntlet, for Christ's sakes. I mean, so don't give me this that once it's authorized and official that it's going to be better. Now, in some cases, they are, like the SNK collection. I'll go back to that with the rotary sticks. Perfect, licensed, was great, worked perfectly with the SNK collection and the rotary sticks. What a great idea. So there are instances where it is good in that fashion, but don't give me this that, the legality, it's 2024. You guys, nobody cares about ROMs. Okay. Nobody cares. Nobody cares but you, because you want to make it a talking point and you want to act like you're holier than thou as a creator. And yet you got 5,000 ROMs on an Arcade 1UP or an ALU behind you. So stop it with that nonsense. Well, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for watching The Rexer Show.